Since I'm sick, I thought how ironic would it be to be reacting to horrifying things we used to use as medicine. Maybe I can find my answers here, but you guys have been amazing in the comments, giving me tips and tricks, and I have taken upon your advice. I slept today very well. I went outside to the dog park with my dog to watch some birds. There's like a lot of parrots here right now, like green parrots in Spain, and they're super cute, but they were literally fighting there. It was like watching a Netflix series, but just in real life. And I also got myself some tea with lemon and honey, so hopefully, um, we'll get through this pretty quickly. But welcome to my channel. Today we'll be watching horrifying things we used to use as medicine and seeing if I can find responses here. Probably not, because it's horrifying, but let's see.
It's hard to imagine a world where illnesses were treated with things like rushing currents or leeches. But not so long ago, that was the case. The world of medicine and our understanding of the human body is always in flux. New discoveries are made every day. And before too long, you learn that the cigarette you were smoking to cure your upset stomach was actually loading you up with cancer. So, today we're examining some of the horrifying things that were once used as medicine. But before we scrub in, make sure you're subscribed to the Weird History channel. After that, leave us a comment and let us know what other medical maladies you want to hear about. Okay, patients? Say, ah.
Uh, I'm kidding. But aren't leeches used, like nowadays? I saw like a documentary somewhere that said that they're bringing leeches back. Oof, I'm sorry, but I could not. That's just like, ugh.
Imagine yourself in a dimly lit asylum where the standard treatment for all ailments involves a large body of water. The asylum staff might dunk you in a pool of ice-cold water only to lift you out before repeating the process ad nauseum. For those who seemed particularly resistant to treatment, physicians would resort to the so-called bath of surprise, which involved standing the patient on a trapdoor and releasing them into a tub of freezing water without warning. But as harsh as these treatments sound, they were inspired by the growing belief in mental health as a serious condition worth treating, an innovation at the time. Though misguided, hydrotherapy signifies society's first tentative steps toward addressing mental illness. As horrifying as the methods were, they were aimed at finding some kind of therapeutic effect in an era before the scientific study of psychology began. So, partial credit for trying. Mercury was considered a
I know that like ice baths is something that should be very healthy, and in Finland people do that. They go in iced lakes after going to the sauna and stuff. I just can't bring myself to do that. I like my water hot as lava, and if it's not hot as lava, I'm not going in. Most likely. But that should probably be something I should try sometime.
cure-all by various ancient civilizations, despite evidence of its toxicity. And we get it. It looks so cool. It must give you some kind of superpower. In the 16th century, syphilis was running rampant, and mercury seemed like the only solution. Known for its ability to kill bacteria, it was administered as a sort of ultimate poison, a purgative agent to cleanse the body of illness. And probably a lot of other stuff, too. In addition to ointments, mercury was sometimes given as a pill or inhaled as a vapor. The side effects were catastrophic, as one would expect when ingesting or inhaling one of the most toxic elements known to humanity. They included tremors, memory loss, and death. Ironically, it may have even advanced the disease it sought to treat, creating a vicious cycle of poisoning and sickness. But
I'm curious, did you guys get to play with that stuff in school? Because we got to play with that in school, and it was so much fun in chemistry class. Oh, I loved it.
Antibiotics. The poison seemed a price worth paying. Incidentally, the term mad as a hatter originated from mercury poisoning, which often afflicted hat makers who used mercury in felt production. So, if you've ever wondered why the Mad Hatter was having lunch with a rabbit, it's because his brain is soaked in mercury. In the 19th century, tuberculosis was nearly as feared as the plague, and one treatment involved injecting milk directly into the veins. Doctors believed that milk, a symbol of purity and nourishment, could invigorate the bloodstream. This would essentially feed patients back to health, from the inside out. Unsurprisingly, milk transfusions often caused patients to go into shock. For For some patients, the milk acted as a lethal foreign agent, causing severe infections or death within hours. The practice was thankfully abandoned as soon as blood transfusion science improved, so they never got to experiment with ice cream. In a
I wouldn't recommend putting any like food fluid in your veins, but wow. How did they come to that conclusion though? Interesting.
In a pre-vaccine world, rabies was a much more serious affliction. Once symptoms set in, death was imminent, so physicians were desperate to try anything that might work. Enter Pliny the Elder, who proposed a literal hair of the dog approach. As per his recommendation, the victim would take hair from the offending animal, burn it, and apply it to the bite wound. If dog hair wasn't exotic enough, other ancient remedies included mixing ground liver, brain, and blood from the infected animal and consuming it. These approaches were born from the belief in sympathetic magic, the idea that like cures like. The mixture of mysticism and desperation made these treatments popular, though they did little beyond hastening the end for rabies victims. Even today, this ancient advice has left a cultural imprint. The phrase, hair of the dog, still refers to treating a problem with a small dose of what caused it, though today most people use it to discuss hangover cures rather than rabies remedies. The mummy...
I did not like that at all. Why wouldn't they if this practice was kind of common, the first time they tried it and saw that it didn't work, why would you do it again? Why? Why?
The mummy craze in Europe was not just a fascination with the pharaohs. It was also a fascination with their perceived mystical properties. From the 16th century onwards, doctors prescribed powdered mummies. Yes, powdered mummies, to treat various conditions, believing something so ancient surely held powerful curative properties. These mummies were presumably not available over the counter. The process involved grinding up mummies into a fine powder and selling that as a medicinal supplement. The powder was touted as a cure for everything, from migraines to muscle pain. And wealthier Europe...
Excuse me? Who thought it was a good idea to powder dead people and put them on... What did you consume then? Or like... What? That is disgusting. Okay. Kind of cool though, but disgusting.
Europeans often mixed it into chocolate for a more palatable experience. By the time the practice died out in the 18th century, thousands of mummies had been destroyed. It's hard to say what Europeans thought they were getting from the mummies. Perhaps they believed the ancient spirits would intercede on their behalf. Or maybe they just wanted a piece of the mystical past.
Let the mummies rest in peace.
Regardless, they turned ancient Egypt into a pharmacy. And modern archaeologists lament the loss of invaluable historical artifacts. Indiana Jones would never. The concept of pain relief through decomposing marine life was popularized in 19th century Australia. Arthritic patients were urged to crawl inside the hollowed body of a whale and remain there for several days. The decomposing whale flesh was believed to emit gases that relieved joint pain. As gruesome as it sounds, people were willing to try anything to alleviate chronic pain, which made the pungent whale spa seem worth a shot. Some patients reported temporary relief, though it was likely due to the heat rather than any magical properties of the decaying flesh.
I was just about to say, I mean, if you're in heat, then yeah, it will relieve the pain a little bit, but oof, that is disgusting also. Who came up with this stuff? Who was like, oh, you know what? I have some joint pain. I'm gonna go inside a dead whale, sit there for 10 to 20 minutes, and it'll cure me. Sorry, I'm not saying... I mean, we had to go through these steps to get where we are now, and we still have a long way to go. But still, come on. Come on.
This particular cure is a testament to the...
I also wonder if, the cures we use nowadays will be in a video like this, 200 years from now. Will people be like, oh, they used ibuprofen and paracetamol for everything, haha. Or antibiotics, oh my goodness, That would be so cool. They'd be like, oh my god, can you believe they used antibiotics? Imagine. Because maybe in this time they didn't think this was weird, but
to the heat rather than any magical properties of the decaying flesh. This particular cure is a testament to the creative, if not morbid, lengths people were willing to explore when faced with chronic illness and little relief. A bad enough toothache will make you start to wonder whether that dead whale can do anything for you. Romans took personal hygiene seriously, though not always in an intuitive direction. For example, they believed that urine had powerful cleansing properties, thanks to its high ammonia content. Slaves collected urine, lucky them, which was then used as mouthwash to whiten teeth. Romans also employed it to wash their clothes, taking advantage of ammonia's bleaching effects. The only drawback was everything smelled like pee. To Romans, the practice did not seem odd. It was as routine as brushing with toothpaste is today. The trend may have faded, but the idea of repurposing waste material for health and hygiene is one that many cultures have experimented with over the centuries. Speaking of which, if you thought the Romans stopped at urine, you'd be wrong. Pliny the Elder and his contemporaries also recommended fecal matter for various ailments. The idea was that the essence of life lay in human waste and could cure almost anything, from stomach ailments to infertility. Of course, this wasn't entirely without merit. Modern fecal transplants for gut health are based on similar principles, though these are far more sanitized. In ancient China, fecal matter was consumed as part of traditional medicine practices, known as
Fecal transplants? What? What are those used for?
yellow soup. Hopefully, it didn't come in chunky varieties. When heroin was first produced in the 19th century, it was marketed as a non-addictive alternative to morphine. Doctors even prescribed it as a cough suppressant for children. And, in fairness, it will suppress that cough. Like many opiates, heroin was extremely effective at calming down children, though the side effects were poorly understood. It wasn't until years later that the addictive potential of heroin became apparent, leading to a swift reversal in its medical reputation. Heroin's rise and fall as a medicinal product is a stark reminder of how often medicine swings from wonder drug to menace within a generation. The practice of bloodletting spanned thousands of years, from ancient Egypt to modern Europe. Doctors applied leeches or made incisions to drain excess blood and restore health. This ghoul-friendly practice was believed to restore balance to the body's four humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile, like your body's internal Voltron lions. Over time, bloodletting became the ultimate cure-all, used for fevers, headaches, and even mental disorders. Although the practice persisted well into the 19th century, it eventually faded as doctors realized draining a patient of life-giving blood was, in most cases, a terrible idea.
That's so weird too. Why would you do that? Who thought of this? Who came up with this?
In one of the most ironic medical cures in history, malaria was injected into syphilis patients to induce a fever. The idea was that the fever would kill the bacteria causing syphilis, and the malaria could be treated afterward with quinine. Austrian doctor Julius Wagner Jauregg even won a Nobel Prize for this idea, kind of like when Crash won Best Picture. Despite being an extreme example of the cure being worse than the disease, it worked just well enough to be celebrated as a major advance at the time. Today, we have penicillin, rendering this fever treatment as an unfortunate relic. Few ancient procedures are as alarming as trepanation, the practice of drilling or scraping holes into the skull to treat head injuries or mental illness. Evidence of trepanning has been found in prehistoric skulls, and the procedure was surprisingly common throughout ancient Europe and the Americas. Performed without
Could you survive that? What? That is insane. Did it work?
anesthesia, because it wouldn't be old-timey medicine without unmedicated skull drilling. Many patients survived to the women throughout ancient Europe and the Americas. Performed without anesthesia, because it wouldn't be old-timey medicine without unmedicated skull drilling. Many patients survived to the ordeal, and some even recovered. Trepanation persisted for centuries as doctors sought to cure headaches, epilepsy, and other ailments through this gory form of ventilation. As we look back on these treatments through the lens of modern science, it's easy to feel like those trial and error days are behind us. But before
I don't know if it's more crazy that someone came up with this and thought this would work, or that the patients willingly went and drilled their heads.
Before we get too cocky, remember that today's cutting-edge treatments may very well be tomorrow's mercury ointment, or giant whale carcass, and insurance does not cover that whale. So what do you think? Which of these misguided cures was the worst? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I definitely think that the head drilling is one of the worst things without anesthesia, guys. That is crazy. But the more you know, maybe my illness can be cured with some mummy powder and some mercury, put some milk in my veins. Sit inside a dead whale for my headache. That must have smelled disgusting, guys. Like, how can you even do that? I'm so sensitive to smells. I probably couldn't even get like 20 meters like close to that. Poor whales. But wow. Thank you guys for joining me for this video and for all of your comments in the previous videos telling me how I can cure faster. I think I'm gonna upload just this video tonight. Well, tonight for me, but today for you. And I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully a little bit brighter and better. But yeah, I'm super grateful for all of your support. You guys have been amazing, and everybody's just been so like nice to me and supportive, and you welcomed me very well to this little community, and I'm really happy about it. So a heartfelt thank you to all of my subscribers and everybody who's here now. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!